Hello and welcome to a Blu-ray update for January of 2018. I think I said the last one was going to be the last one for a while, and this one certainly is a lot smaller than previous updates, but there's still a few things to show here that I was planning on getting anyway post-Christmas, and a few things I wasn't expecting on picking up. I got my I'll leave that one in for free. I was about to say I got my first 4K title. My throat was like, hang on a minute. My first 4K. Okay. I got my first 4K title, which I'll get into at the end of the video. I've got a lot to say about 4K, so we'll get into that whole discussion at the end of the video, the tail end of the video. There's a few Steelbooks. I'll leave them till the second half. So let's just get into the regular releases. And these I wasn't expecting to pick up at all, but money talks. Okay, so I got these three first titles from, I forgot, Europrice I think it was called. We visited Connie's mum and stepdad last weekend, which comparatively to where we live here in Norway, it's like way out in the middle of nowhere, hours away. We went to a couple of shops, and one of them was kind of a cheaper brand store, and they had this bargain bin full of Blu-rays for 20 krona, which is roughly, I don't know, £1.70, £1.80. So I looked through, plenty of copies of Harry Potter movies and The Amazing Spider-Man, which I still have no interest in watching again. I'm sure I will at some point. So the first one I picked up was 30 Minutes or Less. Not a great movie, you know, but had Danny McBride, so had to get it. I did like this film. It came out in 2011, I think. Went to see it in the cinema. It was enjoyable, it was funny, but it wasn't one to kind of run back to. But for a couple of quid, or even less, 30 minutes or less, I definitely felt like pick. But mainly the thing that got me was the special features. We've got like deleted scenes, outtakes, a picture-in-picture video commentary with Jesse Eisenberg, Danny McBride, and I'm just a huge fan of Danny McBride. I love him. Find him hilarious in everything he does. So a commentary of Danny McBride is almost worth the price of admission alone. And I wouldn't mind watching this again at some point. So there we go. Second is one that I'm actually really excited about picking up and looking forward to watching again at some point in the near future. And it's one that I definitely would have picked up on release, but I just never got around to it. And I think that it's cheaper to buy this in a double pack with another movie than it is to buy on its own. So this is quite a steal for this particular title. It is The Thing, the 2011, again, prequel, which tells the story of the Norwegian base in the Antarctic that first experienced the terror from beyond space and time and The Thing and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people didn't like this and thought that it kind of reflected badly on the original. Look, you're never going to make a film as good as the original Thing as far as that kind of story, that kind of a horror film. But I think they did a damn good job of coming fairly close. It was in punching distance with someone with very long arms, you know. But it was really pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. Maybe when I watch it again, it won't hold up. But I remember being quite impressed with it and wasn't expecting too much. And I think maybe they should have gone for a different title because it's just called The Thing. So people think it's a remake, but it's actually a prequel and leads directly into the first film. So what's interesting with this actually is it has a digital copy, which is on a disc. And let me open this and have a look actually, because I remember the first ever digital copy I experienced was Pineapple Express, which is almost 10 years ago now. I love that film so much, saw it many times in the cinema, and got it as soon as it came out on DVD. I can't believe I paid £20 for that film on DVD, but it had a digital copy, and it wasn't a code, it was a disc that I put into my laptop and loaded the film onto my Windows Media Player, and I skimmed through it and went, oh cool, I can watch it on my laptop, which I can do if I just put the DVD in the disc drive. And then I never did anything else with it again. So let's see what this is like. We have the Blu-ray and the digital copy disc on DVD video. I'm not quite sure. But wait, so there's the digital copy, there's the Blu-ray, and then there's a slip with a code to download it. Okay, so you need to put the disc into your disc drive, then you need to put in the activation code, which expired years ago. And go download it by the 3rd of April 2013 and own it forever. Oh, there you go. But I'm looking forward to watching the film again at some point. It has quite a few special features, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the third one I got from the same shop I haven't seen. It's from 2012, Robot and Frank. I heard good things about this when it came out, just never got around to it. Got a very good cast: James Marsden, Liv Tyler, Frank Langella, and Susan Sarandon. From what I can understand, it's about an old man and a robot. And then the last regular release I got from an electronics store. I went there a couple of weeks ago to get a new hard drive because I was running out of space. Thank you to my Patreon supporters for helping fund that. So I got another hard drive, and they had a Blu-ray section at the back of the store. They also had like a gaming section, like they had all like streaming stuff and microphones and cameras, and it was kind of cool. It seemed very modern, but they had a Blu-ray section with new releases, 4K stuff, 3D stuff, and then just kind of the lower end price stuff. And I saw this for 50 krona, 49, and I had to grab it because I think it's out of print in America. Had a brief, limited print run, I should say, with Twilight Time, and so it's kind of pricey to get now. But I did check before I bought it, and this is kind of readily available in Europe. But this one has the English title on the cover and the spine, and it was a little bit cheaper than other places in Europe. So I went for it. It is Sleepless in Seattle. A favourite of mine in the romantic comedy genre, and certainly one of the more iconic films of that genre, I think. And the classic pairing of Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise. What am I talking about? I just did a mail day video where I opened a package from CM42 TV, cheap plug again, and one of the films was The Outsiders, which has Tom Cruise. So I got Tom Cruise on the brain, Tom Hanks, and Meg Ryan, who did 3 films together, and it's probably my second favourite, right in the middle, next to You've Got Mail, which is my absolute favourite. So we got the two kind of proper Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan romantic comedy pairings. So this one is interesting because they never really share any scenes, and I always say this when I talk about this film. If you reverse the genders in this movie, it becomes a very different film. It becomes a creepy stalker thriller, I think. Probably not the way it's played so light, but I mean, technically Meg Ryan is just stalking Tom Hanks for this film. Like, she literally flies across the country just to look at him, and a little weird when you think about it, but great performances. Who directed this? I feel like it was Nora Ephron, of course. Unfortunately, this only has a feature and a music video, whereas the US Blu-ray had an audio commentary, which I would have liked to have listened to. So that's a shame. I don't know why they ported over some of the special features, but not all of them, for this European release. But regardless, it's a film I enjoy very much. I love Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and this is a very good film. Finally, we have a couple of Steelbooks before we get to the 4K main event. This one is a film that I loved. I don't think it gets enough credit. It's a really enjoyable film, and I previously owned it on regular release, and I sold it because I wanted to get a nice edition of it, and I suppose this could count as a nice edition. So here it is. It is a Steelbook of The Adventures of Tintin. I think it's 2011 by Steven Spielberg, animated film. And I love that artwork. I was looking online to see if there's any back artwork, which there isn't, or if there was any inside artwork, which there isn't. But I love the front image, and I also really love the spine. I just love the font and just the contrast of the black on the color of the Steelbook, which I couldn't tell you for the life of me. I'm colorblind, not completely, but yeah, it's kind of a, I don't know, it's like a goldeny, orangey, I don't know, God knows. But I love the artwork, and I was looking online to see if anyone had any images of the back and stuff, and I found a couple of posts online and people saying, "Oh, the artwork is awful. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, this is one of the most ugly Steel, and it's been re-released a few times. Oh, not that. Oh, that ugly." I love it. I think it's gorgeous. I love it. And the film I really, really enjoy. Every time I see it, I appreciate it a little bit more. I think it deserves a bit more credit, and I just love how Steven Spielberg is just so free. You know, he can do whatever he wants, and he does. You know, he can do those kind of what would you call them? Don't want to be too derogatory, but you know, those kind of drier films, like say Lincoln or Bridge of Spies, and then he goes and does Ready Player One and The Adventures of Tintin and the BFG. You know, he just kind of hops around between all different genres, and he can kind of be very good in all of them. And this one, I'd love to see him. I wish they continued this. I think Peter Jackson was going to do the second one, and then they had some other plan, but it seems to have fallen through. But I really, really enjoyed this film. And it was a pretty cheap Steelbook too, so I'm really glad to get a nice edition for it, which is what I wanted from the beginning. Then we have two very recent films from 2017. The first one is SpiderMan Homecoming, which I loved. I really enjoyed SpiderMan Homecoming. It was in my top 30-ish, I think, of the year. Just it was a breath of fresh air to the Marvel films, because the villain was kind of like, I know what it is, maybe it's the Spider-Man villains. It reminded me of Spider-Man 2, with Alfred Molina's incredible Doc Ock, because it was a villain you could understand. You know, you understood why they were doing the things that they were doing. Even to a more extreme degree with this film, I think you really understand why Michael Keaton's Tooms is doing what he's doing. You know, he really has a motivation, and it isn't to destroy the world, which again is a breath of fresh air, because I love the Marvel movies, I really do. I'm an unashamed fan of all of those things, and but most of them have some kind of weird alien who wants to destroy the world and the universe and everything within it, and that's pretty much all it is, and it's pretty wooden and one-dimensional. But this is fleshed out. This is played by a great actor like Michael Keaton, and I really like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I love the feel of this film. It's very fun, and this has the title on the spine, and it's a gorgeous steelbook. I love the artwork. It is absolutely stunning. Like, recently, the Marvel, we got Spider-Man and Vulture there. Just absolutely stunning. This one has the Blu-ray and the 3D Blu-ray, not the 4K. But yeah, I love the artwork, and oh, I didn't realize there's like a double Vulture. There's like him there and then the big face. And of course, hilarious that Michael Keaton has now been in 3 films, or 4 films, as a bird-inspired superhero character. But yeah, SpiderMan Homecoming, big fan of it. Looking forward to seeing the special features and watching it again at some point. And I was going to say something else, and I've kind of forgotten, I think. Yeah, the Steelbooks, the Marvel Steelbooks. I have every single Marvel Cinematic Universe in Steelbook form. And some of them are just so uninspired, you know, and no title on the spine, but I mean, it's just a stock image, or, you know, they'll try and do something creative with it, and it just doesn't really pan out that much. Like the Ant-Man Steelbook, just meant to look like a hard drive. Really? Like, I know there's different kinds of artworks. You can, if you want to go to like China and stuff, you can get really gorgeous Steelbooks, but I'm only going to kind of go for the things I can get easily and quasi-affordably. This one wasn't too pricey. Got it from Amazon Italy, I think, maybe Amazon Spain, one of those European ones. I usually go to those sites for the Marvel Steelbooks. And the same can be said for this one, which I got from Amazon Spain or Italy. I can't remember which one. War for the Planet of the Apes. This was a weird one. It was sent to me in a box, fairly sizable. I thought, oh, just for one Steelbook. And inside that box was another box, which houses, you know, a Steelbook. But this was slotted in between the 2 boxes and was just kind of rattling around on the inside. So I tried to kind of fix it as much as possible, but it was pretty much caved in on the middle there, just cracked in and all that kind of stuff. This is something that Dennis would look at and go, oh, for fuck's sake. And yeah, I wasn't happy with this whatsoever. It was pretty annihilated on the middle there, and the spine was all crumpled up and sticking out. It still is to some degree. So I spoke to, and it was Amazon Spain, because I think, yeah, I'm not sure actually, I don't know, but the customer service was great, and they agreed to send me a replacement. So I have a replacement. There we go, nice and shiny and clean and non-bent, and I'm very happy with that. So there we go. I'm not going to open this one right now, but the film itself was in my top 5 of 2017. Absolutely loved it. Love the artwork on the Steelbook too. I now have the trilogy in Steelbook format. The first one is not so good. The front is nice, but the back is one of those printed backs on the Steelbook, which just terrible. But a really nice glossy front cover. The Dawn for the Planet of the Apes Steelbook is stunning, fantastic, love it, no complaints. This one is gorgeous. I love the color design and the white. That goes very much with the snowy setting of the film, but no title on the spine whatsoever, just nothing. So it seems like 20th Century Fox are following suit with Disney and just not putting titles on the spine, so they can kind of just print it en masse and ship it out across the entire world and not have to worry about different languages, and that's kind of bullshit. I don't like it, but is there any inside artwork? I've forgotten. Yes, there is. Okay, so we got the what's the oh, what would this be? Is this Italian or no, Spanish? Right. La Guerra del Planeta de los Simios. You've got the Italian, not the Italian, the Spanish. Jesus Christ, the Spanish title of the film. And there's the inside image there. Very nice. Looking forward to the special feature. I'm not sure what they are actually. I hope there's a commentary by Matt Reeves. Yes, audio commentario de Matt Reeves. There we go. And I'm sure there's some special features and stuff. Probably not anything in depth like I would love for a film like this with such amazing special effects. And yeah, oh, what a film! Absolutely stunning. Loved it. I think my favorite is still Dawn. of the Planet of the Apes. This one might be the best one, or at least it's tied with Dawn, because they're two just absolute knockout movies. Matt Reeves did an incredible job with these two films, and the first one's really good. Need to revisit that one actually, but there we go. And finally we have, in this very long Blu-ray update, my first ever 4K title. And if you saw my Blu-ray shopping video, you'll know what it is. It is Dunkirk. Really, really like this film. Great film, in fact, from last year, and it's been an interesting one. People either love this or they really had a problem with it. Of course, it has 3 different intercutting timelines of, I think, a week and a couple of days and then a couple of hours from land, sea, and air during the events at Dunkirk in World War II, where all the troops were stranded on the beach, and civilians came over in their boats to take them back. Basically, it's an incredible true story, and Christopher Nolan got to do his war movie, and it was incredible. I'm really intrigued to see what he's going to do next. A romantic comedy, perhaps? A horror movie? He seems to have kind of done it all, and kind of just touched base on all these different big genres: science fiction, superhero movies, murder, mystery, thriller. He's done so many different genres, and I'd love to see him just continue to expand that, you know. But he's done his war movie here. I wouldn't mind him doing another one, but I think he did an incredible job, and there's a few things I didn't like about it, but they're very minor. I thought it was a fantastic film. Why have I got it? Why have I got the 4K? Well, there's this whole thing where I've seen people, or at least I saw people last year at least, buying all these 4K Blu-rays when they didn't have the player or the 4K TV. And I get that it's future-proofing, you know, because they come with the regular Blu-ray as well. But for this one, I wanted to get it, and I think that I'll probably be delving into the 4K arena probably next year. And I wanted to get this, and it wasn't that much more expensive than the regular Blu-ray. I suppose that's why people do it. I'm not completely condemning people, but I do see people buying like boatloads of 4K titles, and they haven't got the means to watch them yet. But this one I made a special case for. You know, I feel like this is going to be a film that's going to be incredible in 4K, and I certainly haven't experienced it yet. I remember back in the days when I used to kind of be I used to be a high definition denier. You know, I was like a flat earther. I was like, there's not that much difference. You can't really tell. And then one day I realized, holy shit, you can really tell. So as far as 4K to regular Blu-ray, I've got no idea how perceivable that difference is. But I feel like unless you've got a TV that's going to really warrant it, which is obviously a 4K one anyway, I haven't been that keen to kind of dive right into the 4K thing as soon as it started coming out. But also it was very expensive when it first started coming out, so you know, I think we figured that in a couple of years time 4K TVs, 4K players would be a little bit cheaper. And as it is, this has the Blu-ray, and I think it has the bonus Blu-ray as well, so there's a fairly nice slipcover. Got a little bit banged up in transit, unfortunately. Got the black Blu-ray case, and this is the thick UK one, 4K Ultra HD. So inside we have a digital download code, which I'll put to the side, and we have the Blu-ray of the movie Dunkirk, and we have the Blu-ray with the special features, and then the 4K disc itself, which is pretty cool. So there must be enough special features to warrant a second Blu-ray disc. Not sure how long the special features are, but I would like to see, I mean, again, it says special features. Join director Christopher Nolan and his production team on this epic journey. It doesn't really detail what's on there. I can imagine it might be like his previous movies, like Interstellar and so on, and The Dark Knight Rises, where you get kind of a collection of 10-minute featurettes that kind of paint a broader picture of the making of the movie. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing that, because I think this is such a stunning production, just from the way it was staged, just with all those extras, and there's people going, oh, there was more people on the beach and all that kind of stuff. Okay, you know, it's a movie, there's only so much you can do, I guess, but as an experience, and just for conveying the story, the real life story, which I had no real idea of, I think that it's, that's the best part of it, I think, is that people who, you know, oh yeah, Christopher Nolan, you know, Interstellar, Inception, The Dark Knight and all that, they can kind of now be educated, that they'll come over, they'll have that kind of brand loyalty to Christopher Nolan's filmography, that they'll watch anything he does and they'll discover something like this and realize this is a true story, it's a great story, then they can learn more about it and things like that, which I certainly have. So that's what I really like, films that do just, or not even do justice, but shine a light on these incredible true stories that just not raise awareness, but they they make people more aware of the history and stuff, and these great stories of human courage, I think, and perseverance and bravery and all that kind of stuff. especially when it comes to World War II, when so much was on the line, and we're really, you know, reaping the benefits of the sacrifices that people made back then. So very important, I think, to tell those stories, even if it's not completely accurate. I think that it's great to kind of make these huge, big movies that draw people in, and then leave them with that lingering feeling of this actually happened, and there's something really special about remembering those things that happened. So there we go, Dunkirk, and that's it. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave your thoughts about any of the films I talked about down below, or 4K, or Steelbooks, or whatever, I don't know, romantic comedies. And I'll see you in the next video.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.